The weirdest things have been happening. My dreams are so lucid. It scares me. I had to get woken up a couple of times because I was screaming in my sleep. And of course, when you get woken up during a dream, it's more than likely you're going to remember what it was about. Well, my mom passed away when she was 50 years old due to complications of bulimia, which led to some sort of heart attack. It didn't have to happen. She chose her way to lose weight. And as difficult as that is now, she really damaged a lot that went on. Not just for herself, but my family. I mean, my children grew up without a grandmother. My son was just 2 years old. And my oldest was 7. So she remembers her the most. My son told me he doesn't remember anything at all. Not even pictures bring something back. He's just too young. So my youngest daughter does remember vaguely. I think that somehow, because of my worries that are going on with my weight and the surgery, I dreamt that she was trying to do something all by herself. And she was really heavily burdened down with something. She was carrying up a really tall ladder on the side of a building. She climbs up the ladder, and it's like, you know, the Corelware stuff. I don't know, like glass. And she's climbing it, and you hear the clattering, and then suddenly you hear crashing, and then a thud, and then someone screams off in the distance, and there she is, like laying on the ground, and her arms are all cut up to pieces, and blood's pouring out, and this person's there trying to bandage up her arms, and as the burdens of the world were all around. It was like an apocalypse or something. It was just so stupid. Town's on fire. Fire engines are busy. The police are busy. The ambulance are busy. So we're screaming, and we're wrapping up my mom, and so we wrapped her up as good as we could. And she was so bony. It was horrible. She was bony, but not skinny. And the last time I remember seeing my mom, she was 145 pounds. She went from like 350 to 145 pounds, basically using laxatives. She would pig out, she would binge, and then she would use laxatives to purge herself. So she lost a lot of weight, but she had all the excess skin. And I never really understood what that was until, watching the YouTube videos and finding out, oh, that's what happens when you lose a lot of weight, and especially if you lose a lot of weight very quickly. So, and that's something that she had done faster, because my mom is passing away right before my eyes. Someone lets go of the cloth that we have used for holding her blood back, and the blood starts spilling, and I'm screaming at them to wrap it up again, and then the arm where the skin was all mangled, she just starts to shrink underneath it. So she shrinks underneath, and you can see the look on her face, and she's like, I'm alright. It's okay, I'm alright. I love you. I'm sorry. And I couldn't figure out what the dream was about at first, and then I realized that what my mom did to herself, she knows it was wrong. She knows she basically killed herself by doing everything her own way, taking it on all herself instead of asking for help or something. We read a stupid book when I was a young teenager, and it was about this girl who did that with bulimia, and she vomited. And then the other part of the book was where this other one was taking laxatives, and my mom got it in her head that it would be okay to do that, not knowing the complications. Who knew what it would do? Do you know what bulimia does? Do you know when you vomit what it does to your system? Do you know what happens when you take too many laxatives? It changes the chemistry in your body. It changes the levels in your blood. It changes your calcium, your magnesium, your potassium. Everything that makes your heart pump and your brain work and your kidneys function and whatever organs you have. It ruins you. It dehydrates your system. It forces fluids out. You don't understand until you see someone shrivel right before your eyes. And they don't look good. And they think they look good. And they just keep on doing it. And they just keep getting skinnier and skinnier. And skin is hanging. And you're looking at them and you're like going, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she's like, oh, I'm only 165 right now. I want to be down to 140. And she gets down to 145 and she looks horrible. She doesn't realize the skin on her is at least 25 pounds. At least. I'm 51 years old. I made it past her birth date. She died when she was 50. That's it. Because she did this to herself. Yo-yo dieting, Atkins diet, whatever diet, all this other stuff, right? Yeah, we all know it. We all did it. We all tried it. Who cares? The worst thing that you can possibly do for yourself is the constant yo-yoing and whatever, but to purposely consume laxative so that you can eat that 2 pounds of fudge and crap it out. So you can have, family-sized bag of Doritos or sour cream and onion potato chips and 50 gallons of pop without worrying about it because you're just going to crap it out. And then to have seizures because your chemical imbalance and stuff like that, and not being honest with your doctor and not telling him what you're actually doing. Being put on different medications, treat this and to treat that, and they can't figure out what's wrong. The reason they can't figure out what's wrong is because you're not telling them what's wrong. You can't let a doctor try to diagnose something that's wrong if you don't tell the truth. It's a two-way street. Doctors know the chemistry balance to check your blood and your pressure, and they can do x-rays and CAT scans and ultrasounds and MRIs and whatever to see if there's strange things growing in places that are not supposed to be, or if something's inflamed and it's not supposed to be, or they can do anything, but they can't figure out what's wrong with you if you're not telling them what you're doing day to day. Are you having your meals, regular meals? Are you eating properly? Okay, so you can get around with it. They didn't ask me actually if I had an eating disorder, so I don't have to say anything. Yes, I do eat. As a matter of fact, I even treat myself to junk food every now and then. Which is every night. When she died and we cleaned up the house, you know what we found? A half of a 2-pound fudge tray under her rocking chair. Unfinished. Because more than likely, someone came home and caught her eating it, so she just hid it under the chair before she could finish it. Granddaughter got to watch my mother screaming in agony as her system slowly started to shut down. And when they got her to the hospital, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. They were doing all kinds of blood tests and stuff, and her system was just, it had it. It was enough. It was shutting down. enough abuse. They couldn't figure out what was going on. And according to my stepsister, she said the last words were basically, is, I'm going to die, aren't I? What do you tell someone when you know that there's probably no hope, you know, like, really? But I don't know. The blame is on her and what she did to herself, because she had an eating disorder. I would rather her be here, of course. There's fat people that can live to be older than 50. I'm older than 50, and I'm fat. But that dream was her telling me, I don't know, it was like, kind of like symbolism of her just dying and fading away in front of me and shrinking like that, and her skin just sloughing off, and her just shriveling up looking like an old prune, and then her taking my hand and then asking for forgiveness or something, because I woke up. I did. It hurts. Being so fresh and renewed, stuff like that, it hurts, that thought. But if there's anybody out there that has the thought to become bulimic, to puke up, whatever, or take laxatives, thinking that it'll flush it out of your system, just don't do it. Let someone know what's going on. Get help. There are other ways, quite obviously. There are other ways. They did the stomach stapling even back then when my mom had done this to herself. She could have easily gotten that. It's just ridiculous. And if you kill yourself trying to lose weight, it's not okay to do that. And you can have an eating disorder. It's okay to have an eating disorder. It's okay if you binge. It's okay, you know, no one is going to hold a gun to your head and say, you're stupid, we're going to kill you now for what you've done to yourself. No. But do it the right way if you're going to lose weight. Track your food. Join a group. Get surgery. Discuss what type of surgeries there are. There's so many. I feel a type of suicide. I know they say that overeating is also a type of suicide, but when you already know that there's something wrong, when you start to have seizures or become so weak that you can't walk properly, and just remember there's other people that are out there that love you. As far as we know, we only have one life on this earth. I have faith that there is something afterwards. Because energy can neither be made nor destroyed. And our spirit is energy. It will go on forever. Don't do something stupid to yourself to lose weight. It can become an addiction, an eating disorder. So she only heard what she wanted to hear and did what she wanted to do whenever she wanted to do it. Sounds like a little kid, doesn't it? Yeah, but you know. And I forgive my mom. Thank the universe for sending that weird lucid dream to me. It's still hard. I think it's like 20 years since she's died now. No need to comment. But if I did happen to help anybody, then maybe that's why I'm posting it. I don't know. Just Take care of yourselves. Okay? Love everybody. I love my life. I love my kid's life. My grandchild's life. Oh, I'm going to say ta-ta for now.